Shalom, from somewhere in the Middle East. That's right. Special mission. Can't talk about it. Can't tell you where I am. But what I would like to talk today is about the parsha Shavua. That's right. The weekly learning from the Torah. In our parsha, we are taught about those who are spiritually unclean, how they have to leave the camp and go outside. Now, what camp are we talking about? What does the Torah teach us? In the desert, the entire Jewish people were made up of 3 separate camps. That's right. In the middle was the divine present camps, Machaneh HaShechina. That's where the tabernacle laid. That's where the work of the Kohanim, the priests, went on. That's where God spoke to Moses from time and time again. Surrounding that camp was the camp of the Levites. That's where they placed their tents. That's where they dwelt. Surrounding them, the outer rim, was the third camp, the camp of the tribes, the people of Israel. That's right. 3 tribes on each side, corresponding to the 12 tribes. They made up the third camp. Now, someone who was spiritually unclean had to remove himself from all 3 camps, depending on the level of impurity. Sometimes just from the first camp, the divine present camp, sometimes from the camp of the Levites, and sometimes, in severe cases, out of all the camps. I brought to you today a little diagram which I made. I want to share with you. A little something I just kicked up over here. Could we all see this? Good. Good, I'm glad. In the middle, the tabernacle, the divine present camp. Surrounding it, the camp of the Levites. And outwardly over here, the camp of all the house of Israel. As we mentioned, in severe cases, the impure had to leave all the camps and sit outside. In certain cases, out of the Levite camp, etc. Now, it's a beautiful diagram. I made it myself. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, it's brought down in the Talmud and later on in Maimonides, the Rambam, that the same setup of the way the camps were in the desert was the exact same setup that they were in the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. That's right. Entering into Jerusalem is the camp of the Jewish people. That's right. Going up to the Temple Mount is the camp of the Levites. And even going higher in the Temple Mount, where the courtyard was, where the priests worked, and the sanctuary, the Holy and the Holy of Holies, was the camp of the divine presence. That's right. Now, who could go up there? Who can't go up here? That's a very interesting point. Because there are people today who say, hey, we can't go up to the Temple Mount. It's off limits. Because the sanctuary is too high. It's too holy. There are places we are not allowed to go, being that we were all in the categories of what we call tumat met, coming in contact with the dead. That's true. And someone who has come in contact with the dead is not permitted to enter into the divine present camp. That's true. And it's a very severe punishment. So we have to be very careful in our state of impurity not to go into the camp of the divine present. But let me point out that the camp of the divine present was only a small area on the Temple Mount itself. The other area consisted of the camp of the Levites. Now the question is, someone who's impure because he came in contact with a dead person, is he permitted to enter into the Levite camp or not? And the answer is, yes he is. Certainly. And how did the rabbis learn this out? We learned this out by finding that Moses himself, Moses was a Levite. He lived in the Levite camp, camp number 2 in our diagram. Oops, camp number 2 in the diagram. Now the Levite camp had special holiness. And though it had special holiness, above and beyond the regular camp of the Israelites, Moses had with him for the entire 40 years that he was in the desert, the corpse of Joseph, which he took out himself from Egypt. So not only do we learn from this that a person who is impure by coming in contact with a dead person, but the dead person himself is permitted into the Levite camps. Now this is astounding. This is a very important piece of information. That teaches us that today, on the Temple Mount, the camp of the Levites is certainly open to us. We don't come up with corpse. Although, for very special people in the time of the temples, they brought up their bodies to the Temple Mount in the Levites camp. But how much more so are we permitted to enter into the Levite camp on the Temple Mount? Being that we're just impure by coming in contact with the dead. Being said that, my dear friends, there is absolutely no reason why Jews should not go up to the Temple Mount to pray. For many, many years, it's been off limits. The Muslims who rule that area, who have ruled that area, did not permit Jews to go up. The only place that Jews were allowed was the Wailing Wall, also known as the Western Wall. And Jews went there. But in reality, the Western Wall is only second rate. It's only because we can't get up to the real McCoy, to where we're supposed to be. Today there's access. Today the Temple Mount is open, also to Jews. But the rabbis have come out and said, no, we're contaminated. We've come in contact with the dead. So we shouldn't go up to the Temple Mount because there are places that are forbidden. Yes, there are places that are forbidden for those who are in contact with the dead, as we all are. That's true. But the great majority of the Temple Mount is open for all of us. Even someone on our level of impurity, as proven by Moses in his camp in the desert. That's right. There is no reason whatsoever today to stay down below by the Kotel, by the Western Wall, and not to go up to the Temple Mount. This is a very important matter. The more Jews that go up, the more we want the temple, the more we aspire to get it back. The more the Jews go up there, the less the Arabs have a hold on the Temple Mount. And that's why it's an obligation upon everybody today to go up to the Temple Mount and to do what we have to do. Our presence of the Temple Mount is the greatest importance. And that's our job in this generation. Of course, there are ways to do it. People should be in contact with me to find out. You have to go to the mikveh first, etc. And go to the permitted areas only. Sure. But we must go up to the Temple Mount. It's time to go up on top. Leave behind the stones on the bottom. It is time to conquer the mountain. The Temple Mount must be in Jewish hands in the land of Israel. This is what's holding back redemption, so to speak. As long as we're contained by staying by the wall, we've done nothing. Our job is to arise and go up to the holy mountain. And there's nothing, according to Jewish law, that's holding us back to do so. That's right. I'm Levi Chazan. And until next week, I'm here, somewhere in the Middle East, on a special mission.